feel like I'm slowly getting into the groove of filming. I'm slowly getting comfortable with the camera. So thanks to you guys. Do you know what? You guys have been so amazing, and thank you to all my amazing comments that I've been receiving lately. So I don't know if so I'm in my 30s now, and I've said that time and time again. I've said that in all my old videos. Now, there are certain things that I felt like I would have benefited from knowing if I was in my 20s. And that spans across like various themes. That spans across various themes such as like relationships, personal relationships, romantic as well as friendships, like career and finance, hobbies, pursuing my hobbies, spirituality and mindset. Those things have been sort of like what has shaped me, like in terms of just my trajectory, because I could see how like in periods of my life or points of my life where I could have fumbled the bag, y'all. And I'm not saying that my life is perfect now, but I see where those things have made a massive impact on how I live my life now. So I'm going to share those things with you. Before I do so, I just like to say hello to my new subscribers and howdy to my old subscribers. I am Tomi, and I make content about basically any and everything. So lifestyle content, personal finance, mindset, spirituality, growth, fashion, beauty. So if you're into that sort of broad content, then my channel is for you. So let's get into it. Okay, now so let's talk about relationships. Relationships, I'm going to touch on personal friendships, and I will touch on romantic relationships. So again, I looked at an old video that I recorded, and I talk about like how I have friends from I have a variety of friends. And the reason why I tend to broaden my friendship group, and I know not everyone can be called friends, but everyone can meet a specific purpose in your life. So you might connect with someone because you're on the same career path or same career trajectory, or you might connect with someone basically based on geographic proximity. And because you have some interests, that's how you connect with. And then you have long-term friends that you connect with on various things. You just connect with them based on how long you've known each other. I think all friendships are important, and it's important that you discern what value each friendship is bringing to your life, because everything serves a purpose. I don't necessarily believe in this idea that you should just keep your circle really small and tight. I only agree with it to a certain extent, in terms of you keep it small and tight if they're long-term friends, but you should still have, because you don't connect with everybody, and not everyone is going to share the same values as you. But you can say there are different aspects of my life where I can connect with my friends on. But ultimately, these friendships should feed you. They should be mutual as well. So you should feed them too. Obviously not in a toxic way, but like it should be positive anyway. Like I feel it should be positive. You could have friends that you just banter with, and you just know that that's the extent and the degree to which they are going to keep that friendship. But then I just feel every friendship should have, you should have mutual respect for each other. And ultimately, you're going to get what you give. People tend to, friendships as well there are no obligations to have friendships, right? There's some people that just feel like friendships are the be-all and end-all of things. I don't think so. You're not obliged to have a friend, and it's not by force for you to be in someone's life. It's actually not. So by being in each other's lives is you being purposeful and intentful that you want this connection, and it's both of you choosing each other every day. And communication is key in friendships, and just understanding how you guys show up for each other. The other type of relationship that I want to talk about as well is romantic relationships. I'm married now, and sorry to just like randomly drop the bomb there. Yes. So I met hubby like over 2 years ago. But before I did that, I did a lot of dating. Okay, I did a lot of dating, and I was quite vocal during my dating stages of my life about whether I wanted it to be serious or not. I do feel that we live in a world where everyone's like, I'm doing me. At what extent and to the detriment of another person. So in the pursuit of living your own life and enjoying your own life, you will now mess up someone else's life. That's why I always felt when it came to dating and relationships, it was important to almost be vocal about what is it, like what your intents were for the other person, and vice versa. I know that it's not like you're not always going to have your way, but that also gives you some clarity, and that also I would say stops you from holding on so much guilt if you let them go. Okay, and before you also date multiple people, I feel it's important to prioritize your mental health and well-being, because people will mess it up. Like, no joke, because there's so many loose cannons out here in these streets that you would literally be subjected to everyone's trauma. And so that's another thing that I would say. In fact, before even talking about relationships, I feel like the first relationship that you should have built with yourself is knowing yourself, okay? And doing some therapy, or just learning about who you are and what ticks you and what you cannot take personally, what is detrimental to your mental health, okay? So in my 20s, I was a bit... I used to do a bit of spirituality. I used to dabble into, like, I was born Christian, but then I got to a point like in my 20s, even late teens, where I was just like, I don't know if Christianity is really feeding me anymore. So I was feeding it, like I was looking at so many areas and looking at, like, reading so many books, looking for answers, but I don't do that anymore. I've just stuck to Christianity in my 30s, because ultimately what every religion or what spirituality is trying to teach is living a good life, essentially, and trying to define what good means to you. And so everything boils down to the same thing. So I ended up turning into what fed me the most, what I was familiar with the most. And no one has done life before, okay? So we're all trying to just understand life. And it's very easy to get persuaded by other people's experiences, but your life is very unique to you, extremely unique to you. You might get advice from your parents, but your parents or people around you or mentors or people who you aspire to be like, but really and truly, they can only advise you to a certain extent. They've never lived your life. They don't know your perspective. They don't know how you comprehend things. Okay, and so it's understanding, like, to what extent can I learn from someone and not adopt their view of life onto me, because I'm a unique individual and my story is unique. My perception of the world is completely my own perception. Nobody has lived my life, okay? And I have never lived my life before. So I'm going to choose my life based on how I perceive it. And I'm going to heal myself based on what I find challenging or what traumas that I've encountered. And when you approach life from that perspective, trust me, it changes your whole, like, trajectory, because now you're not solely relying on what A and B says or what pastor this person says on how you should live your life. You're going to learn from the lessons that and the path that you've chosen, and then you're going to constantly build that resilience, and that's going to really help you lead you to a path that is for you. And no, do your own research, learn your own, like, take on everything everyone's saying on board, but know how to segment what is good for you and what's not good for you. So that's another one that I've learned. So, and that was through listening to everyone around me, going for therapy, reading books, ultimately, I feel like what I really learned was how to build my mindset. And your mind is your greatest asset. Your mind can tell you stories that are so real that they aren't true. So I think the battle that you have in life is with your mind, and that's it, period. Like, if you have a weak mind, you're honestly and truly, really and truly, you're going to have a weak life. And that's what I've learned. Okay, the next area is personal finance. Money is probably one of the greatest assets in the world. It's a major tool for survival. And if you don't want to face the hard truth about money, then you're just living in la la land. There's like certain myths, very negative myths about money, that the root of money is evil. Just feel the root of money is evil in the sense that it's how you use that tool, okay? So if you're using money for evil and you're doing evil things to make money, then that's evil, okay? And so I always think of it like this: wanting a good life, wanting to give back, wanting to enrich the lives of those around you is not evil. There is nowhere in scriptures or nowhere that has ever been a bad thing. But in order for you to fulfill those desires and for you to fulfill that purpose, you need a tool, and the tool is money. And, you know, there is positive ways of acquiring wealth and there are negative ways of acquiring wealth, and you have to define that for yourself. And so by me even dedicating time towards just learning about money, and I try not to be fixated on money itself, what I've learned is to focus on the things that I want, the feelings I want to evoke, the people's lives I want to enrich. And so by focusing on the outcome, I'm less focused on, I need to make money, if you get what I mean. So because I'm like, okay, I want to have created this, or I want this type of wedding, or I want this type of outcome, or I want to have sent a child to school by the age of this, then I'm more focused on the goal I'm trying to achieve as opposed to I'm trying to make money, if you get what I mean. So that's how I realized I needed to learn more about money, and I needed to erase the myths around making money. And so the next thing I would also say that I have learned greatly in my career: choose the right career. I feel a career that ends up rewarding you like well financially, and the one that gives you respect and does not burn you out would ultimately be rewarding, because ultimately a career is just what you do every day. It's what you repeatedly do. And so being in a career where there's a variety of work and is serving your purpose to a certain degree would always be rewarding. And in terms of pivoting in your career, I think in your 20s, the first thing that you should look out for is sourcing a manager that will fuel your learning. That is probably maybe a big mistake that I got jobs easily and I got into interviews very easily when I was younger, because I had a magic word that I would always use, that I am open to learning, and I just wanted to learn. But there is one thing to be open to learning, but it's having a boss and a manager or people around you that are willing to teach you. That is invaluable, because the more you know and the more you're exposed to those kind of people, the easier it is for you to pivot your career. Like a boss, a manager makes a manager makes your whole career experience as well as your career trajectory and growth. And it's similar to the way, if you think about it, in school, you always had that teacher that made you love a course, or that teacher, even if you didn't even love the course in the first place, but you were interested in that particular course because you had an amazing teacher, okay? And that applies to career as well. Health and fitness. Health and fitness has completely changed my life, honestly. And if I think, like, when you're in your 20s or when you're in uni, in your younger days, it was so easy to just lose weight. You know, you just had no health issues. But now, like, you realize you need health, you need your fitness levels to be so on point because it gets you moving, like it contributes to your overall mental health. I heard one saying once, if you don't feel great, then if you don't feel great physically or if you don't feel great mentally, maybe you just need sleep. And it's things like sleep, rest. You know, we live in a hustle culture and people don't vocalize or prioritize those things. But ultimately, it's like your body is your mental health. Your mental health is your body, and things physically manifest in your body first, but they would have manifested in your mind first before they finally show up in your physiology. So that is one thing that, again, I wish I had known earlier, but I think I caught on to it at a good point in my life, and I'm able to leverage that now. This last one, I'm still learning, and it's going to take quite a bit. It's going to take a massive shift. That life is happening now. So this is a lesson that I'm learning now, and it's going to take a massive habit shift because I also think that it's important to pour into your future self, but it's also important to live in the now. Living in the now, I realized like, oh, it's such a blessing to still be in my 30s and still be fit and still look the way I look. And I should capitalize that. Just like enjoy it. Enjoy doing my hair, enjoy doing my nails. Just enjoy beautifying myself because I don't know what tomorrow looks like, you know? So just striking a balance between enjoying my present self and my future self. And that also includes if I want to take risks with certain hobbies, if I want to take risks with, you know, not being at work, I should like capitalize on the moment now because I don't know what tomorrow holds. And life keeps shocking me. It's shocking me nonstop because on the one hand, when I feel like I have time, I never do. And my concept of time just keeps shattering. That like the whole, I don't know, it's almost a mindfuck because I think about it. Sometimes I sit down and I'm like, oh my God, I will never be 32 again. Like, oh my gosh, I can never be 28 again. Like it means I can't claim I'm this, like I can't claim I'm in my 20s again. And it's such a weird feeling. And I'm like, oh my God, how long do I have my young face for? I can start to have those feelings because even I started to develop like bags underneath my eyes because of work and stress. And I'm just like, when I have kids, you know, what would I look like? So I need to fully embrace and fully enjoy myself in the moment, you know, and yeah, just not overthink life. So pursue your hobbies, but also it's important to, if you can balance that with career, just don't overthink things. Don't like, there's too many like conspiracies of the world is trying to be this or da-da-da. That is not your, like literally that is not your problem. You're trying to maximize your life experience ultimately. And yeah, guys, those are all the lessons I've learned. And what lessons have you learned for those of my subscribers who have grown with me and now in their 30s? It's a great time to almost step back and reflect. And yeah, I will see you all in my next video.